Mobile equilibrium. We belong to the first generation that saw, firsthand, that the planet Earth is a sphere, thanks to the pictures taken by space missions since 1965. The fragility radiating from the picture of the blue sapphire on black velvet is more than eloquent, in the words of the Apollo 8 astronauts in December 1968, after they saw the Earth going round the Moon. In a certain way, that picture sensitized mankind and motivated us to get involved in actions that would protect what's on it: the human race, the environment, fauna, flora, and resources. That era corresponds with the development of the environmental groups and helps us understand our own fragility. The changes caused by an eventual but yet tiny variation in our planet's parameters would be so big that the human race would have never developed the way we know it today. Life wouldn't have developed in the ways we know. Instead of being focused on water molecules and carbon chemistry, especially in chlorophyll and photosynthesis, it would have been based on silicon and ammonia, for example. We live in a system with a delicate and dynamic equilibrium. In honor of the great coincidences that enable us to exist, and in deference to our planet's fragility, the author of this piece was motivated to encourage his family and friends, and now you, to think how lucky we are to share the same spaceship sailing the cosmos. We are its fragile and perishable crew. Whatever our philosophical or religious conceptions might be, the planet's fragility deserves to be respected, and the good fortune that allows life on it to exist should be honored. We live on a planet where life, such as we know it, is due to very important and unique coincidences. We are revolving in an orbit 150 million kilometers away from the Sun, the star that gives us life. The temperature on the planet's surface fluctuates between minus 50 degrees and 50 degrees Celsius. The temperature in the center of our planet increases by 1 degree for every 30 meters that we descend into it. And other coincidences too: the seasons determined by the inclination of the Earth's axis in relation to the Sun, the asymmetry of the continental mass between hemispheres, the cold and warm ocean currents, etc. The size of the Earth is ideal. Its mass attracts gases, except for hydrogen and helium, keeping a thin gaseous layer 20,000 meters thick, the atmosphere. If it were bigger, we would weigh more and there would have probably been less development. On the other hand, less mass would imply less body weight and more intellectual development. All those coincidences determined the appearance of chlorophyll, the mother of life, as we conceive it nowadays. It was the author's intention with this mobile to show that in the events of the accident in the Andes in 1972, many random factors played a role, keeping a fragile equilibrium. For example, how would the story have turned out if the cattle drover hadn't come their way? What if there wouldn't have been 45 people traveling on the plane? What if they did not have the knowledge they had as university students? What if they hadn't found the plane's tail where they discovered the material for the sleeping bag? What if the plane's wings had been under the fuselage and not above it? One of the pillars of the group's survival was the objectives they set. The most important: Chile lay to the west, and they wished to be home before the end of the year celebrations. The temporal was connected with the geographical. A project without a deadline tends to failure. It was a human inventions that took them to hell, but also human inventions and attitudes that made possible their return to life. Our aims are polished as we achieve them, and they depend on us, eventually on our context and genes, but exclusively on our attitudes.